If you are a teacher, parent, administrator, student, and/or anyone who loves reconnecting children with nature, and you want to figure out how to cultivate learning gardens and nature-based curriculum, then this is the podcast, the Outdoor Classrooms podcast. My name is Victoria Hackett. I am the founder of Outdoor-Classrooms.com and the Secret Gardens Nature Classes. I love witnessing the magic that happens when children are playfully learning outdoors. Observing the return of wonder and curiosity when children are interacting with nature is pure magic. This is the podcast that is going to help you capture children's interest and give you not only inspiration, but some real life strategies that are going to help you figure out how to use the outdoor space, your outdoor space, as a teaching tool, so you can enlighten the playful learning experience for young children. Welcome to our Outdoor Classrooms community. Hello, everybody. We have Suzette Salmon here today, also known as Miss Sue. She is the founder and lead educator at Lil Bebe Academy, a nature-based home childcare where children learn through outdoor exploration, gardening, and hands-on experience with nature. With over 16 years of experience in early childhood education, she blends Reggio Emilia, Montessori, and place-based learning to create a nurturing environment that fosters curiosity and wonder. At Lil Bebe Academy, children raise butterflies, dig in the soil, observe seasonal changes, and experience the joy of slow, intentional childhood. Suzette is a firm believer that outdoor classrooms provide an ideal setting for young learners to thrive, and that home childcare settings are uniquely positioned to make nature an everyday experience. In addition to her work with young children, Suzette is also an advocate for home childcare providers' well-being. As the author of Overcoming Home Daycare Burnout, Steps to Living Your Best Life, she helps educators navigate the challenges of burnout and create a sustainable, joyful approach to caregiving. Through her courses, blog, and speaking engagement, she empowers educators to embrace outdoor learning while maintaining a balanced and longevity in their work. When she's not guiding little explorers, you can find her tending in her own garden, traveling, hiking, and soaking up the beauty of the natural world. Without further ado, Suzette Salmon. Hello, everybody. We are here with Suzette Salmon, and she is just an amazing educator doing some incredible things. So I'm so happy that you're here, Suzette. Thank you for coming.
Victoria, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So thank you.
Oh, terrific. So all of those folks that are listening, this isn't, we sprinkle in some outdoor classrooms tour and talks. And that means that Suzette and I are going to be going through some beautiful pictures of her outdoor classroom and everything that she's doing. And for those who are Circle members, get to actually see these incredible outdoor classroom. Those that are listening on the podcast, enjoy. And we invite you into our community at any point. So welcome, welcome. Let's get started. Okay, so Suzette, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and just your story.
Yeah, so I'm Suzette Salmon, and I have been a home childcare educator for the last 16 years. But I have an accent because I hail from sunny Jamaica. I'm a Caribbean girl by heart, barefooted and all. And I am now in Chicago, the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So it's a little bit further in from Chicago City itself. So it's a beautiful suburb filled with trees and everything. And I work from my home as a home educator.
That's beautiful. And you're going to talk a lot about that because I know we have a lot of listeners that are also working from their home and providing programming there. So were you always an educator? Do you have a story that led you to starting up it's called Lil Bebe Academy?
Yes, Lil Bebe Academy. So yes, actually, I was in the real estate space. I was a mortgage broker for years. And then when I had my first child, I was looking for something that mirrored my upbringing that mirrored being outdoors and mirrored just being wild and barefoot and running around with the chickens and all. But I was struggling to find something that I really wanted or I felt comfortable that my daughter would thrive in.
Mm.
So when the economy hit in 2018, no, 2008 rather, I decided that I was going to stay home with her. So I went back for training. At first, I wanted to train to be a nurse. And then when I realized that nursing is not my call, I prefer children, the young ones. I pivoted and then I did a psychology degree and I went back to just opening my own childcare. And this is where I've been. But at the beginning of my journey, I was more indoors, even though, I've been brought up being outdoors and all of those beautiful things. It took me a while for me to even land where I am to be a fully embodied nature educator because of the seasons. Illinois is cold. It has winter. There's snow. There's just so much that a Jamaican body just had to get used to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is where I am now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been 16 years since
Wow.
first dipping in the pond, and I am just happy where I've landed and
That's
how I am conducting my daily business. Yeah.
that's beautiful. So with that, we have beautiful pictures that you have sent and I've put together. So you founded this home childcare,
Mhm.
and can you tell us a little bit about the program, how you started it, and how it works?
Yeah. So, at first I started my business being indoors a lot, even using my entire home. And then we transitioned to using the lower level, which is not a basement, but it's like a split level house. So we can actually walk out
Mm.
from the patio door. The problem is, I'm going to say a problem or challenge is the children are seen outdoors all the time. So we have big patio doors. So there's no way that we cannot be outdoors because the outdoor calls us. It's like a magnet, and it's so funny that even the little ones as babies, they would go tapping on the patio door, wanting to go outside
Mm.
because there was just so many good, rich learning that happened outside. And for this particular picture, what you're actually seeing is after years of realizing that the children really love to play in the dirt, they wanted to be outdoors a lot, I created a creek. So where you see that little girl is
Oh.
um, with the book looking for a purple flower, trying to identify where is that purple flower that she's seen in the book. I can't remember what that book is, if it's I don't quote me on the name of that book, because we have so many books that are related to nature or flowers or
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
things. So it's hard to keep track of which one it is. But what was beautiful was she was looking through the book and then she saw the iris and she saw the purple flowers in the book. And she was like, Miss Sue, look, it matches, and that's one of the beautiful things about learning outdoors is that it connects children. Children are able to have this rich hands-on experience. And whether through oral stories or for her, the visual story of a book, connecting that with a plant right in front of her. So it's just beautiful the way that outdoors draw the children, even
Yeah.
from my patio inside, for them to go outdoors to engage in it. We have another one here, which is the ginkgo flowers, ginkgo leaves. I don't know about you, but ginkgo leaves are they attract me, they pull me, they're just so
Mm.
beautiful, especially in the fall time when it's like a carpet. I call it like it's Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, that yellow brick road,
Mm-hmm.
it pulls you in. So I don't have a ginkgo tree, but what I end up doing from time to time is if I see a ginkgo tree in the fall, it's free loose parts. I'm going to stop, pull over, and I'm going to grab a piece.
I do the same thing. Not
Yes.
necessarily with ginkgo trees, but I stop my.
It's like it pulls you. There's no way you're going to let it just be fertilizer for the ground or for the leaves to go with, So I bring these in and we use it for so many beautiful process art or fine motor activity. As you can see in this one, the child is actually cutting the leaves. And the beautiful thing about a ginkgo leaf is that it already has that symmetry, the lines going through, so it's up to her if she want to cut it beside what I do not give directions, so to speak. And there she is cutting it.
Amazing.
In the
Yeah.
fall, again, we just have so many loose parts that it would be a travesty not to use it. And we use has to leave just anything we're using, as long as it's
That's
safe and not toxic to the kids. Yeah.
and you've already alluded to this, but why do you believe outdoor learning is I mean, I know I'm speaking to the choir and we have a lot of folks that are listening that feel, but I'm just curious, why do you believe in a home childcare program that outdoor learning is so important to young children?
Well, I suffered through burnout, and burnout can really happen to educators because outdoor learning is part of my philosophy, but it depends on the educator. So the educator in themselves is pulled to outdoor learning, or they may want to study outdoor learning just because of the benefits that they hear research shows, or they may hear another educator talk about it. For me
Mm,
personally, outdoor learning, it calms the children. They have more curiosity. It's hands-on learning. They're happier outdoors. It's like the noise that we say, inside voice, or we're like, I think that's a little bit loud for my ears. Why don't we take it outdoors? They can go, yo, yo, yo. you know, and, they can act like the bird, caw, caw, caw. And there's nobody telling them that you need to tone it down outdoors.
Yeah,
Whereas indoors, there's a level of noise that is not really something that you want to hear in your own ears.
yeah.
And then also the children are free. There's so much movement outside. They're using their bodies. And my little babies, it's like when they're outdoors, we have like a little slope. And it's so funny that the little babies, for the slope for us adults, we just walk up the slope. The little babies go down and they crawl backwards. Look at it and you're like, oh my goodness, for them, it looks like a big mountain.
Yeah.
After a while, as they develop and grow on their bodies, each milestones, then they're able to actually walk up that hill.
Mm,
And that in itself, so outdoor learning presents so many rich abilities for the
mhm,
children, and there are no set rules. I mean, there are safety rules and risk assessments and all of those, but in terms of the children's doing,
mm.
find outdoors more freedom. And that's what I found as a child growing up in Jamaica. I was free from my parents being outdoors. We created our own rules, our own engagement, and we were the happiest. So again, for me as an educator with that background, I brought it into my space. But for educators who have not been there yet, it's learning about what research is saying and also starting out small to see how they can actually find use with outdoors, because it also outdoors provides so many opportunities for the early learning standards. Every single marker for the early learning standards that is done inside can be done outside.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And we're just looking at additional pictures here. Your nature journaling and there's a beautiful leaf here that's going into clay. So what are ways that you incorporate this natural environment, especially it being your backyard, into your teaching methods?
so one of the things for me as a educator working at home, I work by myself. I don't know if you have other family childcare providers that work by themselves. So we're setting up the environment so that we're able to manage by ourselves. So for me, it's putting provocations or even projects outdoors prior to the children arrive.
Right.
So I have like totes and tubs, and I've also got a shed. So I have easy access to pull things down to take outside so that we can engage the children in art. We can
Hmm.
engage the children with science, maths, language development. So for this clay, I
I
like to
love this.
play and dirt and sand outside. And some may feel more restricted using clay because clay can get messy sometimes if you add water to it.
Hmm.
But right here, you see they're using like leaf prints in the clay, and that is patterned, and They're able to push it down, use it. They're able to use sticks and shells and so many other things with clay,
Mm.
similar to what they would use in the sand. But clay creates a mold where sand doesn't necessarily create it unless you're adding water. And even through their different strategies of having the mold with the sand, it's normally like in a container, so to speak, but is not necessarily only just by pressing something down on it, where clay can give you that opportunity.
Now, do you do clay intentionally or play? Do you use Play-Doh? Or do
Yes,
you do you
I
do both? You
use
do
both.
have
Yes,
both.
we use both. I make my own Play-Doh because I have young ones. I know some
Yeah.
people have children over 3. I cater to the little ones. So some are in the oral stage, even though they're like 18 months and older, they're still putting things in their mouth. So I like to make my own Play-Doh. Just go to the dollar
Mm,
store, get some flour, cream of tartar, and all of those salt and stuff, oil,
mm-hmm.
and make it with different colors and so. So I use both clay and I
And that's
use
good to
some
know.
Play-Doh. Yeah,
I just keep flipping through these amazing pictures. This looks like a glorious time in your mud kitchen. So you've got your kiddos here. Have you seen any transformations in the children that you're working with as you have moved outdoors and really made your program to be nature based?
absolutely. So again, working with the little ones, I want to talk about this picture in the middle right here because that is like a hamster wheel. And you'd be like, why would I have a hamster wheel inside of, what is this for? And I got it from my own curiosity. And that's the other thing, because sometimes our curiosity leads to putting something in an environment, not knowing what the children will do with it, because no directions, as long as it's safe. And I'm watching to see if they're going to put their hands in that hamster wheel for it to be like an entrapment. That's not what happened. What happened are my 2 little kids right there kept putting dirt in the hamster wheel. And when they added the dirt, they would turn it. And they'd be like, Miss Sue, look. And what came out of it were dirt balls. So they would put like a flat piece of or a clump of dirt in there and they'd spin it. And every time they did it, it's a ball, a full shaped ball, round circle
Really?
ball that came out of it. I had no idea that would happen. And they kept doing it and they kept making lots of dirt balls and cakes and pies and all of those things. So your question is, have I seen? Absolutely. Also, this little girl in the middle, she used to tear apart insects. Forgive me.
Oh,
So we have to teach our children how to be really respectful of the environment and the living things within the environment, even the worms. Worms don't necessarily always grow back, and sometimes they're so anxious or excited about these things. So they pull at it, maybe pull at a
mm,
cicada, the wing come off or something. So yes, I have seen where being outdoors in nature a lot more, they become caring,
yeah.
empathetic. They want to know that their handling of this animal didn't cause it to die, or is it still moving? And for little kids, they're like, it's not moving. Oh, it's dead. It's totally dead. No, it's not dead. It's moving, Miss Sue. It's flying. It's moving. I didn't kill it. The outdoors provide such rich learning for little children where sometimes you wonder to yourself, okay, am I doing okay with the children being outdoors? Am I achieving anything? Is learning really happening? It absolutely is happening. And even with this mud, for some people, they may look at it as it's just messy play. But then you're using mud. When you're done, what are you going to do? In order for you to go inside, you need to wash up. How are we going to wash up? We're going to use soap and water to wash up. Are we going to just put mud through mud? No, because if we throw mud, it may go in our friends' eyes. Those little things where you're learning that there are consequences. So it teaches the children that there are cause and effect. And it also helps them to learn that if I'm doing this with my friend, I'm not only doing this for me to be safe, but my friend also, I'm watching out for them. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, absolutely. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because There is so much, and and I think even looking at this picture with the kids in the mud, and I think some folks would be like, "Ooh, I don't want to deal with the washing of the hands," and so I'll say, "No, don't get close." But to all the research is showing us that when kids can play in the mud freely, like these beautiful, beautiful pictures, just the act of playing in the mud is transformative for them. It's calming. It's all the things that are in the mud that's helping them. So it's such great, beautiful pictures, great advice. Is there any advice that you would give other educators or parents who want to bring more outdoor learning to their childcare or home?
Absolutely, because as you touched on, there is a process of cleaning up. It's
Mm-hmm.
messy. It's not that it's going to be roses and sunshine every day. It's messy. So it also needs the educator to be prepared. So it's thinking ahead of time. Okay, if the children are dirty, what do I need in order for the
Mm-hmm.
children to be successful? If the children are dirty, am I going to be running around for water and pan to wash them, or am I going to be prepared for this? The
Right.
preparation is everything. Think ahead. What will I need? Will I need extra wipes? Will I need more water container in order for me to wash up? Am I going to engage in this kind of play when I know that we have no water? We didn't catch any rainwater, because one of the things with being outdoors also is ecologically, we're going to save rainwater. If we don't have
Right.
a rain barrel, then we're going to just let the container sit so that when it rains, we can have access to water, right? So some of the things that we're going to do is plan ahead and also start small. If this is too messy for you, go with water. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to entail just mud, especially if you're not there yet. You will be there, but you're just not there yet.
I love that. Oh, so you have told me that you have raised butterflies with your children and you do it this every single year.
Yes.
I would love to know what that experience is like and what your kiddos have learned from it, if there's anything special. And again, we're looking at such a variety of pictures here. One of a butterfly and one of kids in their rain suits and other kids painting. So could you share us your butterfly story?
Sure. So in 2016 or 17, my children went to a camp. And when they went to the camp, the lady gave me a mason jar with something that was green inside of it with a mesh on top of it. And she's like, this is a butterfly. I was like, oh, no, she said, this is a chrysalis. It's going to become a butterfly. I was like, yeah, okay. And what am I going to do with it? She's like, just leave it on the table. And in 2 weeks, you will see something emerge. You have nothing to do. Just wait and watch it emerge. Oh my goodness. I brought it inside of the academy and every day would go, is it there yet? Is it? And the children would
Oh,
looking to see if the butterfly emerged. And when it finally did, because it went through a process of changing from green to like a little bit darker until it was like a film of paper, like cling film around something that really looks like a butterfly. And we're like, oh my goodness, you can see the butterfly in that cocoon
yeah.
looking out, but it was still inside of the cocoon. And just the way the children were so excited and engaged, we wrote down notes like how many days it took for us. It was like a whole journal keeping diary anecdote, of the experience. And I realized how interesting it was. And I said, no, I need to do this for myself. So after we released, it was a monarch butterfly. At the time, I
Mm.
had no idea what is a male or female or anything. I just know it was an orange and black butterfly. But the lady encouraged me to grow milkweeds. No, I didn't know difference from native plants or anything in terms of what specific plants the butterflies needed. So I had to do my own research. And then I would go to like little parks the following year and see if I could search milkweeds for eggs. And then I would take them back to the academy. And then from that curiosity, I started to build until I planted milkweed seeds. And then now we're raising butterflies for like maybe the last 7 years. And
Oh,
yeah, and it's just so beautiful that sometimes just need an introduction to something.
yeah.
And then you're going to see how you're introduced to this, what it's going to do for the children, because the children are involved in this beautiful unfolding of events and seeing that it actually is a chrysalis, what comes out of it. So
Mm.
now we have a butterfly garden or several butterfly gardens inside of my backyard where we have the common milkweed, we have swamp milkweed, we have also the plants that they drink nectar from. So most summers from May up until September, we have three different sets of butterflies. So some years we release like 50 butterflies and we tag the butterflies that
Yeah, I can see
emerge
that.
in September. Yeah. And then we
Wow.
tag those are the ones that make it to Mexico, California, down that region. And we tag it to see if they will come back to our yard. We've not seen any back to our yard as yet, but the process of knowing that we're identified little eggs, and the eggs are like pin-sized eggs. And the children are walking along the creek or in the garden. They're like, Miss Sue, I see an egg. Look at the little caterpillar. And we're raising these because sometimes we have to take it from the garden because we also have praying mantis. And the
Mm-hmm.
praying mantis will eat these little caterpillars. So we put the caterpillars with the host plant, which is the milkweed, inside of the, like a fish tank or
Mm.
a little cage, and we raise them. And the children are very active in the process. They bring the food to the caterpillars and they watch it and to see, as Eric Carl says, the hungry caterpillar, because after a
Yeah.
period, it's going to just start eating, like eat, 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 and it just get big, el gordo. Just gets so big and the children they're seeing it. And then in the process of this caterpillar, it's going to go up, like attached to like maybe a branch or the top of the cage. It
Mm.
hangs like a J. And sometimes the children actually witness how it changes from the caterpillar up into a chrysalis and the jerking and how it changes into this beautiful emerald green color. And then also on the chrysalis, there are little gold dots on it. Oh, Victoria, it's beautiful. It captivates them. And then also in the past, what I used to do was to give them like a jar, like a mason jar, put a mesh on it and let them take it home and
Mm.
see their own release. But I've stopped doing so because research is showing that the butterflies, their survival rate is better when they're raised outside and not indoors. Because when I give it to
Interesting.
them in this, they're taking it indoors to put on their mantle or table. So they're
Right.
acclimatized to no wind, no rain, just the AC, the internal temperature, which
Mm.
is not good for their survival.
Mm-hmm.
Now we just raise them, release them outside, and we just keep this.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, let's see. It just, your outdoor space seems like you're just immersed in nature all the time.
We are, even in the winter, we are.
Yeah, I love that. How do your parents and your families react to that? And how do they think about your programming? I guess
Okay.
they wouldn't be there if they didn't love you.
Well, that's no. Let's talk about before,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
not all the educators are where, and this is why you have your program Outdoor Classroom, because you're helping educators to get to outdoors, but not everyone is there yet. So the transition, how do we get from one point to the next? For me, it took a lot because I had clients who were afraid of walking barefoot because of parasites and their cultural belief that outdoor is not okay for the children. They didn't want their
Mm.
children to hold a frog or be in the dirt. So it took a lot for me to show them what research says about the microbes in the dirt and for me to say, okay, the dirt in Jamaica or the dirt in Africa or the dirt in the Caribbean may have parasites that are harmful to the children. But let us examine the soil or the dirt here in the US and to see what parasites live here. So it's educating the families as to the benefits of outdoors and also what's in the outdoor soil, showing them that the children are not going to get sick all the time. Because I had a client who was from South America and she's like, Miss Sue, my daughter's not going in the snow. And when the daughter did went out into the snow, she had on so much gears that she couldn't move. She was like the Michelin guy. She just was like not moving. So educating the families
Yeah.
as to the benefits and for them to realize that even if the children go outside and play in the rain, is the propensity that they're going to get sick from the rain? Is it 100%? Is it 90%? Or is it that there are seasonal allergies that go around? And also if a child gets sick from the cold, it's good for their immunity.
Hmm.
So it's really having these deep, rich conversations with the families to help them in order for them to see the benefits of outdoors. And then sometimes I go back to, what was it like for you as a child?
Mm.
Because I think a lot of us have a upbringing of being outdoors until the fireflies were there telling us to go
Yes.
inside.
Yes.
So it's bringing them back full circle to, what did it feel like for you as a child? How was
Yeah.
outdoors for you as a child? Because a lot of the parents now, when I pick up, sometimes I see the first thing that children get is a gadget.
Yeah.
It's like a car ride can't happen without a gadget. So bringing the families on board for me also entailed asking for donations. Do you have any rain boots? Is
Hmm.
there something that your older child isn't using that we could use? We have family meetings outside sometimes, like in the fall time. Some centers have their conferences and they have indoor conferences. For me, sometimes it's outdoors where we have like the fire pit going. We have like
Mm.
togetherness. So I engage the families. I bring them in for them to even acclimate with outdoors. We have activities sometimes where we're outdoors in the nights with flashlights and the
Mm.
families are there too. So if the families are on board, then they will also see the benefits. So that's where I'm coming from. So now I put all my nature schooling, my philosophy and everything in my handbook. And because I'm a nature school, I'm always sought after. It's like I'm always getting calls asking for children to come to my nature school because I'm like an anomaly in my area. And that's what parents are seeking. I hope that wasn't long winded.
No, it's perfect. It's fascinating to hear your journey. I mean, it's fascinating to know that you came from a space that you really had to educate the parents. And here I'm sort of making the assumption like, oh, they're there because they know that you're nature based, but you really had this journey and that you had families coming from all different cultural backgrounds, which is fascinating. And to see the impact of that and the slow education process to get them to this certain point. But I also love how you share really developing community and creating community within your program. And I think that's so essential, especially now. And I think we're all seeking desperately community. And how
Yeah.
can we do that within our programs? And that's something like that I think about all the time in terms of, I think especially now is just we need to reach out to each other and pull each other in
Yes.
and create spaces and create these outdoor classroom spaces where we can gather, not just for the kids, but again, like you said, for the entire family, because it is the community ultimately that are raising the children.
It is.
And we can't do it alone. And I would love to, we did talk about your memorable experiences. We looking at these incredible pictures. I want to make sure we have enough time to talk. You have written a book. And
Oh, yeah.
you hinted a little bit about experiencing burnout. I wanted to just, if that's okay with you, to ask you about that.
Yes, yes. So, I experienced burnout as a home educator. When you work as a home educator by yourself, there's no team. You are the team. You are the entrepreneur. You're the teacher. You're the guide. You're the facilitator. You're everything. And sometimes that in itself can be challenging. And also when you have families who are not they don't have the vision that you have, or my communication skills wasn't very good in order for me to tell the families what it is that I stand for, my philosophy, my vision, my mission, and what it is that I was trying to create. So I got burnt out in the process of doing, of being, of becoming.
Mhm.
And then I had to pull back. So I wrote a book for educators for them to analyze where they want to go, analyze their situation, and to see how they can really engage in a practice where the families are on board with the practice, and also that they also engage the children. So whether you're a nature-based program, whether you are a Reggio or a Montessori, really lean into who you are and lean into also having the parents on board, having the parents know what it is that you offer for the children. And it's not just a safety place. Your childcare is not just, oh, I keep the children safe. We're more than facilitators of the children. We do so much more rich learning. So I wrote Overcoming Burnout because I went through it, and I believe that educators who are going through burnout, there is hope for them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So here we're coming down to the closing, but as a Caribbean educator in a nature-based setting, have you encountered any unique experience? You've shared so much, but I wanted to make sure we also got this question in.
Yeah, absolutely. One, I was told that when I started to be outdoors a lot, I was told that people wouldn't want their children to be outdoors a lot because of
Ah.
Illinois, you know. What happened is a lady that was working for me, she was from Bulgaria. She saw that, oh, I was just inside a lot. And she's like, Miss So, the children need to go outside. And I looked at her like a deer in headlight. I was like, outside where? In the snow? She's like, yes. It's like, um, so she herself, led me to being outdoors, not just during spring, summer, and the fall, but winter is also a time outdoors. So it took me a while to get there. And when I did, I had to bring the parents along too, because of course, as I shared before, some may think that it's just too cold for the children or that their children is going to get sick. But now where we've landed, we're now going outdoors, even when it's snowing, when it's raining, as you had seen in some of the slides before, we're going outside. And when it's raining, like I would in Jamaica, the children are even using their umbrellas as a rain gauge. So they're seeing how much water the umbrella can, you
Yeah.
know. We're active gardeners. And in this slide here, the picture to the right, you'll see this big caterpillar. That was a client who brought the caterpillar in and say, Miss Sue, we found this, and I know this is something that you're going to be interested in. And she bought it for the children to see. Now I have parents bringing tortoise or the big tortoise inside of the environment for the children to see. I have, look at this, a client brought this hornet nest for us.
Oh
Yeah,
my
okay.
goodness.
So a full circle where I'm coming from to where I've landed with my Caribbean background and my unique experiences is that I have pivoted, I've adopted, and I know I have like a responsive kind of learning environment where I am tuning into the children's interest. I am talking to the parents like on a daily basis, and they're bringing in their parents, what's happening from home to school. And so it's like a real tight bond. And I think that's why I love being a home educator so much, because it's just so intimate and it's rich.
Yeah.
Families are involved, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, well, you're glowing. You're in the right place because you're completely glowing. Just looking at more pictures and more kids in ice and playing outdoors. Just incredible. And look at your space. You've got just beautiful,
You.
beautiful spaces. Did you want to share any other, just you've got this, the
Okay, so
infrastructure. Yeah.
let me tell you something about our backyard also. It's when you have a nature school, sometimes things find you. Even the raccoons and the possums will find you. Sometimes they're not invited, but they take up residence because, hey, you're a nature school. So what you're seeing here is the birds. We have so many birds and the birds nest. We raise robins, we raise
Oh.
swallows. So many birds nest in the yard. And what you're seeing are the children using like a little ball run, but at the bird cage above them, there are birds inside. They're nesting.
Oh.
You cannot have it any other way. It's just so beautiful and rich. So we do a lot of art outdoors too. And in a nature school, sometimes it depends on where the sun comes in. So we call it chasing the shade. Yeah. So sometimes the sun is stronger in the backyard or it's stronger at the side, northwest. So, I'm not good
Mm-hmm.
with northeast, north, south, east, west
Yeah.
directions, but we just look at where the sun is coming. So we end up going under the trees or finding little spots. So that's where you see the children on the concrete, and children have
Yeah.
just sitting anywhere. Sometimes you have
What
to tell them,
amazing.
oh, no, no, no. Don't sit
Yeah.
there. And we're active gardeners. We go to the parks sometimes. And when I'm walking to the park, Victoria, it will take us like maybe an hour to get to the park
Wow.
and an hour to come back. And it's just maybe 2 blocks away. Why?
Because you're looking at everything
They
along
are
the
looking
way.
everything. They're looking at you see them looking at the sewage system. They're looking at the
Yeah.
what's down there. Could anything be living down there? Any holes or cracks? They're asking who lives here. It's just an amazing adventure outdoors. We're garden also. So here on the left hand side, you're seeing like corns and
Oh, it's
different things.
huge.
Yes, yes.
And robust and healthy. Oh, it just is so exciting.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
cool.
And it's just you have these beautiful provocations in every single picture. It looks so well thought out. And to think that you're doing this by yourself
I
is
am,
incredible.
and that's the thing. I make space for this so that I can really engage the children in nature and learning can be consistent in
Hmm.
it's not a one-off thing.
Yeah. No, it's just beautiful. This big, so what, this is a big sheet that's
Just a
being
sheet.
hung.
It's just a
Are they painting on it or they're
yep,
spraying on it?
painting. They're
Oh,
painting
that's,
on it. So it can be a little flat sheet. If I say to the families, if you have any sheets or anything that you're not using, maybe a duvet, just bring it in, I'll wash it, and then we will reuse it. So
yeah.
those are some opportunities too. And I know some educators may be like, I ain't gonna reuse anybody's old sheet, but if you wash it, it's a clean
Yeah.
thing for the children to use instead of
And it's
throwing it
just
into the
the
garbage.
variety that you have too, as well. And the textures. There's just so much
Thank
to
you.
that. It's just beautiful.
And right under here, what we have is like a little, my son during COVID was going through anxiety. And
Mm,
for him, what he ended up doing was to cut out a space and he made it like a little cove. And he was so anxious during COVID that he had to be outside and I gave him permission. And one day I saw him chopping the tree like he was chopping the tree to bits. He was so mad. And, I said, what's going on? Whatever his name is. And he couldn't express how he was feeling, but being outdoors allowed him to be calm. So he made this little cove, this little den, and then we were
mm,
able to put a chair underneath this. So now that's our children's sit spot. So
mm,
it's like when you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, you just sit in a chair underneath that little space and you can breathe. I even eat lunch underneath that little space.
mm.
He has created something for us like to breathe, so to speak.
Yeah, it's
Just
beautiful.
take a minute and breathe.
And everybody, we all need that, right? We all need these different approaches. And you've got this sticks, these story sticks that I use.
Yarn. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's this book that we love to read. I think it's called Extra Yarn or something like that, where the girl had extra yarn and she'd weave it all over town. And so we do a lot of yarns. We have yarns on sticks, on CDs, a lot of yarns that the children use. And again, anything that you do inside can be taken.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not
Painting.
for outside, inside. You can take some elements of outside, inside, but you can't take everything from outside in.
Yeah. So this is our final question.
Oh,
So if you were to give one seed of inspiration or a tip, I call it a seed of inspiration, to any educator or parent, what would that be?
I would ask them to think about your why or
Mm,
really look at the children, sit with the children or sit with one child outside one day quietly and watch the child and see where they wander. Where are their eyes? Are they going up to the sky, looking out? Are they looking at the birds? Are they looking at the grass? One seed of inspiration is if you want to be a nature-based educator, start slowly and start with observation. And it also start with your own anxiety because we transfer
mm,
what we feel and how we feel to the children. And if we're able to even drink a cup of coffee outside without any gadgets or anything and just sit, what are we hearing, feeling, seeing? sit with it for a minute and see how we can use how we're feeling to help the children. Maybe that child that you're sitting beside is looking at the sky, and your dialogue would be, what do you see? Are there any clouds? Maybe the child is just feeling the grass. You can put your hand in the grass too and feel it.
Beautiful.
Quiet yourself with the children.
Yeah.
And see where nature takes you. It's more complicated than you think. You think it's complicated, but it's easier than you think. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is. We don't have to overthink it.
No.
Just open the door. So where can our listeners find you and all your beautiful, beautiful work?
I am Suzette Salmon. My home child care is called Lil Bebe Academy. And I also have another platform called Edulali, EDULALLIE. And I am Miss Sue, affectionately called Sue by my kids. But they're the little ones who they can't say Miss Sue. They're like, Sue.
Well, I will put all of that information in our show notes. And Miss Suzette, it has been absolutely a blessing to have our paths cross and have you share so much of your story. And we do need to support our home care providers. And thank you so much for being such an advocate for that community. So thank you again for all your body of work and everything that you're doing and putting out into the world. It's a blessing.
Thank you so much. It's my joy. I really love it. And I don't think I would have lasted so long had it not been connecting with nature. It saves me, it heals me. And even when I'm stressed out, I say to the children, I need to breathe. And we go outside to breathe.
And there it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode. Before we sign off, we have an exciting opportunity for educators looking to bring learning to life outdoors. Consider enhancing your teaching journey with the Outdoor Classrooms Teacher Certification Program. This program empowers educators to transform any outdoor space into a dynamic learning environment. By joining, you'll gain skills to inspire students and foster a deeper connection with the natural world. Interested in making a difference with outdoor learning? Visit www.outdoor-classrooms.com to learn more about enrolling in the certification program. Don't miss the chance to expand your teaching toolkit and inspire the next generation with the joy of outdoor education. Thank you for listening, and remember to subscribe to our podcast for more inspiring content. Until next time, keep inspiring young minds.